good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are tuning in from in the world. This morning's practice is going to be a bit of a gentle, full-bodied mobility session, followed by the Kapalbhati abdominal breathwork, and then we're going to finish off with a visualization, meditation, manifestation. So we're going to start in a seated position. And I want us to just sit up straight, and then we're just going to start by doing some neck rolls. Bringing the chin to the chest, gently rolling it round in a clockwise manner. I'll do 5 of those. And then round the other way, anti-clockwise. And 5. I'm going to inhale. I'm going to exhale, gently fall forward. And stay in here for a couple of breaths. And again, inhale up. And exhale, falling forward. Inhale up. Reach your left hand over to the left hand side, place it down, and then we're going to just reach over and get a nice stretch down the right hand side. Trying to keep the right sit bone down. And then back up, swapping over to the other side. And then back up. And then what I want us to do is just bring the feet and the legs forward and try and get them a little bit parallel. We're going to do some more forward folds. Inhale. And then exhale. This one you're going to feel it slightly more in the glutes now. And we'll just hold this here for a few breaths. And then swapping over the feet. Inhale again. And exhale, fold and forward. And then sitting back in a comfortable seated position, bringing our arms out to the side. 90-degree bend in the arms. I want us to bring the elbows back, bring everything back, chest out. So, chest out, shoulders back, looking up. Big inhale, and then exhale, bringing the forearms together, round in the spine. Inhale, chest out, shoulders back. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And then return back to normal. Widen the feet as much as you can. And we're just going to kind of move in a clockwise position, pivoting forward, pivoting back, trying to keep the dorsiflexion there, trying to keep the hamstrings activated. And you might find each time that you go around, you can get a little bit lower. The idea is trying to sink the belly, then the chest, and then the chin forward. None of this hunching over. If you need a block or a cushion to sit up to make you feel more comfortable, just go and grab one. And then we're going to go anti-clockwise. And 5. I think it was 5. Coming up onto our knees. Get the spine nicely warmed up. Doing some cat-cows, pushing the mat away, tilting the tailbone, rounding the spine. Exhale. And then inhale. Opposite direction now. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And then just return to normal. If you need to do any movement, shaking the shoulders side to side, the hips side to side, and then bring the big toes together. Widen the knees as much as you can. And we're just going to sink ourselves down to the mat. The idea here is just to try and relax, allow the hips to naturally open themselves. You can also take this pose and just take your hands behind you or have them gently in front of you. Hands out in front, coming in for a cobra, belly, chest, chin, as low down as we can to the mat. Chest out, shoulders back, inhale, looking up. Exhale, sit back into the child's pose. Inhale, coming forward. And then what we're going to do here, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Centre the right foot, inhale, kick the left foot up and over and drop it over to the right hand side. We're going to come forward, bring in the left knee slightly behind the left hand, lower ourselves down to the mat into this pigeon pose. And while you're in this pose, just feel around. Where can you feel the tension? That's generally where you need to focus on. If you've got any pain in your knee, just gently come out of it. And what I want you to try here is kind of leaning over slightly and trying to sit the left glute onto the mat. And maybe even just work through that motion. So coming over to the right, then right over to the left. Placing the hands on the mat. Tuck this toe back into downward facing dog. Centre the left foot now. Kick the right up and over. Same again, bringing the right knee through just behind the right hand, sinking ourselves down into the pigeon pose. And again, just spend some time playing around with this, feeling where you need to spend more time. Tuck the toe, coming back out of it into our downward facing dog, sinking the belly, the chest, the chin as low as we can, bending the knees a lot here. Coming forward, one knee at a time. Bring the big toes together. Start to lean back. Find the biting point in the quads. And once you find it, just stay there. Again, if you can get down to the mat, try and do it, but keep this core engaged. You don't want to be bending your back like this. If you are, just help support yourself with your hands. If you're able to get down here, you can start bringing the knees together. But again, trying to keep that core activated, just to keep the tension in the quads and the hip flexors. And then back up. Coming forward. Tuck the toes. Sit back into this yogic squat. And again, if you support yourself with your hands, that's completely fine. Not everybody's going to be able to get the feet down to the mat. And I want you to come up ever so slightly, keeping a nice big bend in the knees. Placing the left hand on the mat. Exhale, twist up. Inhale, back to the center. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, back to the center. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale to the center. Exhale, twist up to the left. And inhale back to the center. Just hanging in this position. And then slowly, one vertebrae at a time. Inhale, coming up, all the way up. Slight back bend here. Oh, exhale, folding forward. And again, just hanging there. This time I want you to try and bring more pressure into the toes, keeping the weight shifted forward, pulling up on the hamstrings slightly, still hanging there. Inhale, coming all the way up. One vertebrae at a time, nice and slow. And exhale, forward. One more time. Again, trying to just put a little bit more pressure once again. Pressure on the toes, pulling up on the hamstrings. And inhale. Coming up. Nice big back bend here. Oh, exhale, hands back to heart center and back to standing position. I'm going to move the mat over to the wall now. Start with the breath work. I'm going to do quite a few rounds of this breath work. What I would say is go and grab yourself some tissue. If you've not done this breath work before, it's a forceful exhale through the nostrils, using the abdomen to kind of like a pump. This is how I explain it. It's like a pump, and then you release the pump and it brings the oxygen the air back in. It's a passive inhale, so it's not, you're not going, you're going. And the breath will just come back in. We'll try and do as many rounds as we can with these. Then we're going to have a nice long, I say nice and long, but at least a 5-minute visualization, meditation at the end. And so with that being said, let's make a start. So we'll first start by taking a few breaths in and out of the nose. Filling up the lungs. Exhale, completely emptying them. I'm going to make a start. When we do this first inhale to around 75-80%. You don't want to be at full capacity, otherwise you're going to feel the pressure building up, and it's going to be hard to kind of control the abdominal movement, because you'll have all this tension here. So we'll just inhale. And when you do this exhale, I want you to be relaxing everything you can. Relax your face, your arms, your shoulders, and just use the muscles in the abs. So. Deep inhale, deep exhale. Let's go for another round. Deep inhale, deep exhale. If at any point that you need to stop throughout these as well, just stop, let the breath return to normal, and join back in when you feel like it. If you feel like pushing on when I stop, feel free to push on and continue. One more inhale, one more exhale, and then we'll go for another round. I'll go again. Deep inhale, deep exhale. I want us to go for a breath retention here on the inhale. Deep inhale. And hold. A few breaths in and out of the nostrils. And we're going to do a breath retention on the exhale. Deep inhale, full exhale, and then hold the breath. And inhale, and let out a sigh. And inhale, and let out a big sigh. One more. We're going to move on to our visualization meditation. Just want you to spend a moment just trying to quiet the mind, which should be fairly easy after that breath work. Should be nice and clear. If you get any random thoughts, just acknowledge them and move them out of the way. I like to visually just move them out of the way to be dealt with later. And then let us return to our mantra. I think, I feel, I act, I attract. Starting with the thought. So everything comes from a thought. Everything once started as a thought, was somebody's thought. And so what I want you to do here is visualize something that you desire in life. It could be a personal goal, it could be a fitness goal, it could be a business goal, it could be a financial goal. And I want you to just visualize that and be very, very precise on it. And when I say precise, I mean the time of the said thing happening. Where are you? What are you wearing? Who's around you? You know, if it's a personal fitness goal, you might have lost a ton of weight. You might be feeling fit, strong. What does that look like? If it's a financial goal, what's the figure in your mind? What is the figure? And then I want you to feel. So we feel the emotion. So what does it feel like? I want you to try and attach the feeling of gratitude, the emotion. And just sit with that for a minute. Okay, and now moving on to the action. What is one action that you could do today? It could bring you one step closer to where you desire to be in life. If it's a personal fitness goal or health goal, it could just be training extra hard in your next session. It could be sticking to your diet, sticking to your fasting. If it's a business goal, it could just be making the right phone call, sending the right email, setting up that meeting. And when you do, I want you to refer back to this moment this morning. I think, I feel, I act, I attract. When you're doing said action, feel the emotion, tie the emotion to it. And what that's going to do, it's going to help you keep reprogramming your brain into doing the actions that you need to do to get you to where you want to be. And we're just going to close the session off by saying thank you to yourself for showing up this morning. If you believe in God, the universe, or higher power, whatever that is, take a moment just to say thanks. That brings us to the end of the session for the week. Hope everybody has a great weekend, and I will see you again Monday morning for the next one. Goodbye for now.